We've got ESPN's ranks of WNBA players right now. And Caitlin Clark is really high. One could argue she's not high enough. But I think it's pretty surprising for a lot of these folks. I will tell you this straight up. Angel Reese ain't nowhere to be found in the top 10. She's not involved. You're not here. Sorry, but not sorry. You're not to be seen.
Angel Reese drops to 12th in ESPN's rankings. Fair call or major snub? The 2025 ESPN rankings are in, and Angel Reese's placement is making waves, for all the wrong reasons. 12th place. Not in the top 5. Not even in the top 10. Just 12th. For a player who's built her image as one of the biggest names in women's basketball, this ranking raises eyebrows. Reese has never lacked confidence, but does this latest drop expose a gap between reputation and results? Fans are split. Some believe the ranking reflects reality, while others argue she's still being overlooked. So, did ESPN get it right? Or is Reese being undervalued? Let's hear your thoughts.
So, let's all get a laugh together here, because this is the list. And you see the list, right? Well, I don't see, correct me if I'm wrong, do you see Angel Reese on this list?
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, unbothered and thriving. While Angel Reese deals with the fallout from ESPN's rankings, Caitlin Clark is chilling at number 2, letting her game do all the talking. No controversy, no debates, just pure dominance. Funny how, not long ago, people were hyping up this so-called rivalry, pushing the idea that Reese and Clark were on the same level. Even the commissioner played along. But now, the gap isn't just obvious, it's undeniable. So, was this ever a real debate? Or was it all just media hype? Let's hear your take.
Moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Well, that settles it. There's no debate left to be had. The gap isn't just noticeable. It's outright staggering. Caitlin Clark didn't even have to push herself, yet she's dominating with ease, while Angel Reese might be scrolling through social media, searching for answers. Let's be honest, this is a reality check for Reese. She had the hype, the headlines, and the larger-than-life persona. She built her brand as the game changer, the one to watch. But now, the numbers don't lie. When it was time to back it up on the court, she's struggling to crack the top 10. Meanwhile, Clark is simply doing what she does best, racking up triple-doubles, smashing records, and redefining what greatness looks like. No distractions, no excuses, just pure, unstoppable basketball. At this point, is it even a contest anymore?
Okay. And lo and behold, I couldn't believe my eyes when I seen number 2. They had Caitlin Clark. I said, really?
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
And please, let's not bring up the, but she's a double-double machine defense. Sure, double-doubles are cool, but you know what's even better? Being the reason millions of fans actually show up and tune in. For the longest time, ESPN seemed hesitant, almost like they refused to admit Caitlin Clark was her. But guess what? Even they couldn't ignore the obvious anymore. Clark isn't just part of the conversation. She is the conversation. She moves the needle. She is the moment. And everyone else? Just trying to keep pace.
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She has energy, she has an attitude, she'll rebound you the basketball, great. Nothing else. She has not, and she, what I give, she's got self-awareness. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
The numbers don't lie. The stats don't lie. And now, finally, the rankings tell the truth, loud and clear. Meanwhile, Angel Reese fans are squinting at the list like it's a game of Where's Waldo, desperately scrolling to find her name. Hate to break it to you, but landing in 12th place isn't exactly giving superstar. It's like thinking you're the VIP at an exclusive event, only to realize you're stuck outside, while Caitlin Clark is already inside, center stage, owning the moment. Clark's doubters tried every angle, every narrative, to convince the world that Reese was on her level, but now? Silence. Crickets. Kinda refreshing without all that extra noise, isn't it?
If we did go off of how much winning Caitlin was doing, how she was contributing to winning, and then going off the viewership and all that, oh yeah, for sure. I think Caitlin should have won.
Let's be real. If the roles were reversed, we'd never hear the end of it. Imagine if Caitlin Clark was ranked 12th while Angel Reese landed at number 2. Social media, in shambles, sports shows, running non-stop segments, Reese's fans, crowning her the face of the league without question. But now that Reese is the one slipping in the rankings, silence, excuses. Suddenly it's all, rankings don't matter. Funny how the narrative shifts when the hype isn't in their favor.
And now she knows it to the point that even when she's on the basketball court, she's aware like, this ain't really my thing. Let me get this hot potato out of my hand and to somebody that knows what they're doing with it as soon as possible. You got to see this clip. This is a 3-on-3 basketball game. Angel Reese strips a player at one end, runs down court with the basketball, 3-4 steps ahead of everybody, has an easy layup, and throws it to the girl behind her.
And then we have the Angel Reese loyalists. Oh boy, their dedication is something else. They'll swear her game is unstoppable while conveniently ignoring the missed shots stacking up like a never-ending construction project. Any critique? Immediately brushed off as hate, even when it's just stating the obvious. Quick reminder, facts aren't negativity, they're just reality. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here casually dropping 30-point performances, rewriting record books and boosting league revenue like it's second nature. Her impact? Undeniable. Angel? She's on the court, sure, but when her team racks up another loss, which happens more than her fans like to admit, the excuses start pouring in. It's the refs, it's the system, it's the media. But maybe, just maybe, it's time to look in the mirror.
And this is ESPN's list, y'all, not mine. So don't be chirping, getting mad if your fave isn't at the top. So at number 1, we have Cameron Brink. Number 2, Angel Reese. Number 3, Kate Martin. 4, Rickea Jackson. 5, Julie Vanloo. And 6,
There was never really a debate to begin with. Caitlin Clark has made that crystal clear. She's not just another star on the rise. She is the future of the WNBA, the face of women's basketball, and a once-in-a-generation talent transforming the game before our eyes. Angel Reese? She's a strong competitor with a devoted fan base, but let's be real. Her shooting struggles speak for themselves. At the end of the day, the conversation isn't complicated. The game tells the story, and Clark is the one rewriting it.
Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups? Not I.
Number 2 player in the entire league, not on the Olympic team. Just pointing that out. And of course, you did have some haters. Please, Clark is not better than Stewie, Fee, or Inescu. Clark is not better than Stewart. They glazing Clark is not better than Inescu, blah, 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 no matter what.
Right now, only one name stands between Caitlin Clark and that MVP trophy, Aja Wilson. And for the rest of the league, that's a serious problem. No doubt Ajay has the accolades. She's the heart of a powerhouse aces squad and a dominant force on the court. But let's be real. She's holding on to that top spot with everything she's got. Because Caitlin Clark is coming. Fast, give it a year, and we might be calling Clark the undisputed best player in the league. And honestly, no one would be surprised. The Indiana Fever went all in during free agency, stacking their roster like they're building a contender. And Caitlin? She's about to go full superhero mode, MVP-level numbers, record-breaking threes, and defenses scrambling like they showed up with no game plan. The Fever are rising, and the Aces? They better hope their championship window isn't closing, because Clark just changed the entire WNBA landscape. As for Angel Reese, maybe it's time to stop worrying about ESPN rankings and start focusing on staying in the conversation. Because if this season was any indication, the road ahead isn't getting any easier.
No matter what Caitlin Clark does, she's going to have some haters out there. It's just they're losing their minds over all the people that have either been traded for and signed or signed for the Indiana Fever right now. And of course, it looks like a powerhouse of a team.
Next Vios. One thing is undeniable. Caitlin Clark is the main event, the superstar, the showstopper, and she's only getting better. The rankings prove it. More points, more fans, more records shattered, more eyes glued to the screen every time she touches the ball. At this rate, the only thing left is signing autographs while dropping 40. But give it time, that might be next. Reese fans were loud in 2024, insisting she was right there with Clark. Now, silence. The narrative has shifted from Reese is just as good to, well, she tries really hard. And even that feels like a stretch some nights. Let's be honest. It's been a while since anyone could mention Reese and Clark in the same sentence with a straight face. Unless that sentence is, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent, and Angel Reese is also present.
Asia number 1, Caitlin number 2, Brianna number 3, and now we really have Brianna over Nafisa in terms of projections going into next year. Stop. Nafisa Collier is definitely top 2 in this league.
Angel Reese went on this massive rant last year with Kennedy Carter, I believe, standing next to her about how people are tuning in for her. It wasn't just one other person, but all these people are moving the needle and people want to watch her, except you're not her. You're not
Angel Reese. Sitting outside the top rankings might surprise some. But let's be honest, it's not exactly shocking. Her impact is undeniable. She's a force in the paint, a walking double-double, and one of the most marketable names in the league. But when it comes to pure basketball dominance, that's Caitlin Clark's territory. The numbers tell the story. Clark's offensive firepower, her ability to take over games, and the way she commands attention from fans and media make one thing crystal clear. She's the face of women's basketball. Rankings might shift, but her position at the top? That's not changing anytime soon. As for Reese, this might be the spark she needs. She's built to prove people wrong, and you know she'll use this as fuel. But if her goal is to be the biggest name in the game, she's got one major obstacle standing in her way: Caitlin Clark.
What the Indiana Fever did last night got me so excited. The Fever, if you haven't been paying attention, they are really active in ensuring that Caitlin Clark and company have a true contending lineup next season.
But now, ESPN finally snapped out of it. They couldn't ignore the obvious any longer. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She's the rookie, the face of the league, and the unstoppable force redefining women's basketball. Remember last season's ranking fiasco? The one where ESPN somehow placed Angel Reese ahead of Clark? Yeah, that take aged like milk. While Clark was out here torching defenses, shattering records, and casually sinking half-court shots, Reese, well, she was putting up solid numbers, but rewriting history? Not quite. Fast forward, and reality has set in. Clark sits at number 2, though let's be honest, she should be number 1. But at this point, rankings don't even matter. She's already secured the real wins, on the court, in the record books, and in the hearts of fans everywhere. And Reese? If she wants to keep up, she's got some serious work to do.
That she don't want that smoke, Steve. She wants nothing to do with having to shoot the basketball. And I give her credit. It's self-awareness.
I think they had a list last year. She was like 15 or something like that. And Angel was like 19. And this year they got it closer to being right. It's more so, it's closer, okay? She's second. And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Experts finally watched the games. Maybe they stopped buying into the social media hype. Or maybe reality just hit them like a missed layup off the glass. Either way, justice has been served. Because the more you watch Reese play, the clearer it gets. She hasn't elevated her game. If anything, she's stalled. And in a league where development is everything, no amount of clout can cover for that.
The biggest thing for me is her not even responding to all that's going on. And I think that's commendable. I think she's a unicorn. She's doing everything I thought she was going to do and more, like win the MVP.
You think that's not going to happen this year, but it could happen very soon.
It's great for the conversation. Y'all all went to the Olympics and now y'all losing now. Y'all burnt out? Y'all should have let this young girl go over there and play.
I just don't think there's a correlation.
Nah, but she would because she's a rookie. You let these young play. Caitlin Clark is a superhero.
Her shooting? Still a struggle. Calling it inconsistent would be generous. Her defense? More style than substance. Just enough effort to pad the box score without truly affecting the game. And her offense? Let's not even go there. That's a whole separate case study. If her jumper had a personality, it'd be shy, unreliable, and completely MIA when the team needs it most.
There is no individual who has benefited more from the Caitlin Clark effect than Angel Reese. That's my hot take. Think about it. From going up against her, playing her in college, taking on that villain role, going into the league at the same time as Caitlin Clark, everything that she's said and done on social media or in post-game press conferences, she is a star because of Caitlin Clark. She would not be a star if Caitlin Clark weren't a player. She'd be just as good a women's basketball player. She'd have been picked high in the WNBA draft and would still be a good player. Yep. But she is a star because of Caitlin Clark.
She would be a star in women's basketball circles.
Well, that's not what I mean, though.
Yeah, no,
she is a star in the world.
This is exactly why last year's ESPN ranking was so mind-boggling. They really tried to sell us on the idea that Angel Reese was better than Caitlin Clark. Seriously, what were we watching? Clark was out there leading her team, rewriting WNBA history and casually pulling up from the logo like it was just another part of her warm-up routine. Meanwhile, Reese was grinding out some of the most forgettable double-doubles imaginable. Stats that looked decent on paper but meant little when you actually watched the games. Now, after months of excuses, overhyped debates, and an army of defenders trying to justify every misstep, the truth is impossible to ignore. Angel's game just isn't cutting it, and the more she plays, the clearer it becomes.